Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another episode of The World's Finest. And in this review, got 3 books coming out of Marvel, 1 conclusion to a Secret Wars mini, which is House of M issue number 4. And we got 2 number 2s from the all new, all different Marvel. We got New Avengers issue number 2 and Spider-Man 2099 issue number 2. Before we get into anything all new and all different, let's get the one mini-series that should have been, the whole series should have been over before, the whole event should have been over before All New, All Different came out. But we got House of M issue number 4. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed with the ending. And I'll explain why. You got Magneto and the Resistance fighting to get Magneto back into his castle to stop Pietro and Namor. Because Pietro lied about Magneto's death, obviously, and basically to save the realm. And it's a humongous fight between everybody and everything, and then Magneto finally gets back to his throne room. You have Wiccan, who tried to give Magneto back his powers in the beginning of the book. That didn't work. You had the Resistance, which are the Avengers, versus the Shield, which are the X-Men and all the other mutants working for Magneto. And then you have Magneto now back in his throne room, and he's fighting Namor, because Namor shows up and actually tries to kill Quicksilver as well, because he was using Quicksilver all along so that he could rule the entire realm. And then you have Wiccan and Speedball, I believe it is, who try to wake their mother up because she's been knocked out cold by Namor. That doesn't work. So Wiccan actually ends up, spoiler alert here, sort of, giving his father back his abilities somehow. We don't know how, and he's able to defeat Namor, and normalcy kind of reigns back to the... Basically, everything goes back to the way it was when the Shield, or his group, beats the Resistance. He basically releases the Resistance members because they helped him. So basically, Wiccan thinks that he's turned over a new leaf, but he's like, nope, I owed a favor, and I paid my debt. No more, no less. There needs to be a status quo. Either you're the one wielding the whip or you're the one taking the lashes. The end, period. So basically, the last page of the issue, everything's back to the way it was, and you have Magneto saying, it's good to be king. That's it. Although I shouldn't be surprised, it is House of M, and of course Quicksilver is being punished by Polaris, not by Magneto, because for some reason Magneto can't really hurt his kids, apparently. So, it was an okay miniseries. This is definitely on my, what do you call it? There were low books, there were average books, and then there were really high recommendation books. This definitely falls under an average, more towards the lower part of the average list. House of M, again, if you did not read the main event that was going on, you're kind of a bit lost already. And, I don't know, I just feel like this book didn't do as much for me as a few other miniseries from Secret Wars did. Alright, let's go into the all-new, all-different Marvel, and let's start off with New Avengers issue number 2. Mike will be showing you guys some artwork, and for some reason, I know a lot of people didn't like the artwork in Avengers, New Avengers. I like it. For some reason, I like the way Wiccan is drawn. I like the way certain characters are drawn. The only question with the New Avengers, and I didn't mention this last time around, was Squirrel Girl. I don't like the way they're portraying her now. During the New Avengers previous run, when she was Power Man, or I was about to say Nick Fury, oh wow, Power Man, whatever. When she was Power Man's babysitter, she looked like a normal person. Then all of a sudden they brought out a Squirrel Girl series with the buck teeth and everything, and now they kind of made it more cartoony, more childlike, kind of, and it kind of took me away from the character because I liked her when she was more realistic, I guess you could say. So anyway, the New Avengers are trying to fight to save Paris because everybody is being changed into these diamond-like head people. That's the best way to put it. And then there's this boring dialogue at the beginning of the book by the maker, which is the Ultimate Universe's Reed Richards. Basically, they say Reed Richards if he went bad. And they're not really winning. As a matter of fact, Squirrel Girl and White Tiger end up getting converted into the Diamond Heads. That's what I'm going to call them. And then out of nowhere, the Maker loses power. And that's when the New Avengers and Roberto, who is back at the AIM headquarters, they're bouncing off ideas on how to stop this from happening and how to save the people who are now converted into these diamond-headed people. And we bounce around from a scientist to AIM agents to a few other people, and they figure it out, which is really cool. And there is a fight between the new Avengers and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are now under the control of the Maker and are diamond-headed. And they win, and they figure it out, which is really cool, and they save the day. The end, for the most part. Clint is very happy and says that through this mission they definitely earned the name Avengers. So he stays on, so he'll be part of the new Avengers as well. And also Dugan is very happy with the way they went about this mission and the way they succeeded, that they had succeeded. And of course Reed Richards is the Maker is disappointed, but he's still going to be a main antagonist, I feel, for a while for the new Avengers. And also, he released something dark and evil that I'm sure will plague the new Avengers later on in the series. But until then, that was this issue. It was a very quick issue. So far, this and Uncanny Avengers are fighting for first and second place for me. When it comes to the Avenger books, I'm just now really getting back into the Avenger books because I didn't really care for the last run. The run before that, I really wasn't catching on either. This time around, I'm really trying to get into it more, and hopefully this time I'll be sticking around. There's going to be a big event crossing over between all the Avenger books soon, so I'm hoping that things stay good with the Avengers. And now, starting next week, the X books are starting to come out, so we'll see which X books make it to the keep pile, and which Avenger books make it to the keep pile, and which X books will end up being X'd out, and which Avenger books are going to be dismissed, so to speak. And finally, this week we've got Spider-Man 2099 issue number 2, and I want to thank everybody for not telling me what happened to Tempest. I know a few people did message me and say you're not going to be happy about what happened with Tempest because of my haul video, and I'm not. Tempest, spoiler here, but not really, is dead. She dies, and that was a humongous wow. I mean, she was a big part of, well, not a huge part, but she was a big thing towards the end of Spider-Man 2099's last story arc, and now only 2 issues in she died, and that was kind of a bit crazy. That was, I don't know, I was kind of, and Miguel definitely doesn't take it well. And Pete, he tries to get Pete to help him figure out who did it, why they did it. You've got Alchemax still working on that prison with Gargan and Miguel's, what do you call it, great-grandfather or whatever. And then he goes back, Miguel, to the scene of the crime to figure out who did it, because he wants to know who did it so he can kill them. He wants revenge, like deep revenge. And we get a scene with Roberta, which was really cool. And apparently Captain America from 2099 is still in her head. So apparently she survived the Secret Wars as well. Well, we knew that from the last issue, but apparently she really survived because Captain America knows that Miguel is Spidey 2099. And we find out that there was a robot that was driving the car that caused the explosion that killed everybody, including Tempest. So he's doing research on the robot, and one of the people that works with him comes in and says, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to, you were thinking about hiring Dr. Kronos." And he's like, "Who's that?" And we find this huge thing out about him being connected to Dr. Doom, yada yada. So now he wants an address for Dr. Kronos because he wants an audience. And I like how, what's her name? Lila tries to convince Miguel that this isn't the right way, you know, vengeance isn't what Tempest would have wanted. She even turns into Tempest, and that kind of pisses him off even more. And then we do get to see the old costume next to the new costume, and Miguel kind of gives us a mental rundown of everything that's in that the new costume has and will do. The artwork is so gorgeous, and it makes this new costume really pop out for me. And he goes to see Dr. Kronos, and things don't go according to plan, or at least not according to his plan. And it looks like Dr. Kronos isn't as old or as feeble, let's put it that way, as Miguel originally thought. So now we got a huge fight on our hands in the next issue. This is a really great second issue. Now Miguel is back. And I love how he said, I love how Pete made this costume thinking that one day I'd be back in it. I'd be taking up the Spider-Man mantle again. It's almost like his spider sense is on another level, on the next level. And he decides he's not going to sit around and mourn and just close down because Tempest is dead. He's going to take this and do something with it and make, you know, and find out who killed her and stop them. And apparently the vengeance thing is kind of taking it a bit too far. But we all know he's not going to go that route, or at least we hope he won't. By the time he does find out who sent that person out to do what they did, or the terrorist attack, and why. So this is great. I loved it. I'm glad that Miguel's back as Spider-Man. It was a bit quick. I was guesstimating one more issue before he decided he would go back to being Spider-Man, but I guess everything happened so fast that it's just inevitable that it led to that by this issue. I loved it. Spider-Man 2099, Peter David just does an amazing job. He's done an amazing job with this volume. He did an amazing job with the previous volume and with the original volume. All of the Spidey 2099 stuff is really excellent. If you haven't read anything Spidey 2099, I recommend going back in time. Start with the original series, come up to the second volume, and jump into this one. This was amazing. This was my favorite book out of the three we just talked about. And with that, that's it for this review, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about any of the books I talked about here. Stay tuned for the comic book recap, which is coming up right after this video. A bunch of links in the description below connected to stuff right here on Dark Avengers C86, Comic Frontline Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see you guys really soon in the next video.